All right. So, hello, Valerie.
Hi.
This is the reading for Valerie Booker on what is today? Today is May 24th, 2023. All right.
May 24th.
Yeah. So, the reading we're going to be doing today is Galactic Astrology, and I call it the Cosmic Journey of the Soul. Because we do look at your, let's say, your star nation origins, but we've been through many different star nations in our journey through the cosmos. Okay, but first off, I'm going to start with the opening of the Akashic records, because even though I have worked with your galactic chart, which I will be showing you, I also work with the Akashic records. So I call in the divine love and truth of Mother, Father, God, I am, as the supreme spirit of all that is. I now request that the consciousness of my human ego recedes to the background to allow my highest self to flow through me fully for the duration of this soul reading session. Only the highest vibrations of pure love and truth can remain in the space within me and around me. Any interfering energies during the session must be immediately resolved by the grace of God. I come with pure intention to assist with revealing information that is most relevant at this time. I ask to receive details from Valerie Booker's eternal soul records that are accurate and most helpful for her healing and alignment with her highest divine human potential. Amen, and so be it. All right. And I also like to start, Valerie, with another prayer from, are you familiar with the Mayan Oracle?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this comes from the Mayan Oracle. It was written by Ariel Spilsbury, who wrote the Mayan Oracle. And I just
Mhm.
found this to be so beautiful. I just love to start all of my readings with this, all of my galactic astrology readings with this. And
Mhm.
and I just want to say sometimes I get a little choked up because I can just feel the deep truth here.
Okay.
So, and one more thing, Valerie, I wanted to let you know is that I have an outline that I can send you, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. Okay,
Oh, okay.
unless you
All right.
really want to, but it's a pretty extensive outline. Okay, so I like you to just
Okay.
be present. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
and let it come into your heart. All
Okay.
right. In the beginning, you were one with the radiant source that is unity. Out of creative love, energy exploded, becoming individual aspects called star seeds, essences, or angels. The source created these holographic seedings of the dimensions and essences in order to evolve the greater reality. The cosmic consciousness expanded in many directions simultaneously. When the mythic call was sent out for the great transformation on Gaia, beings from many dimensions and star systems answered, incarnating at divinely appointed junctures in the evolutionary process. On entering time and space, these beings, yourself among them, were veiled, appearing separate from their true identities, their expanded essences, their I am presences. Now is the time to embody your true identity as love. Together in balance, we create the pillars of the etheric temples of heaven on earth. Amen. Blessed be. So I just want to share a little bit. This is a reading that combines galactic astrology, which is actually based on your natal chart. The natal chart really it shows more our earthly existence and our how we've been imprinted by the solar system. Whereas the galactic chart kind of goes up and shows how we've been imprinted by the different star nations that are not part of the zodiac, such as the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Sirians, and so on. Okay. And we also use the galactic Akashic records. And my understanding is that for many, many years, the Akashic records were only open for our lives on Earth. Whereas now the memories of lives in other dimensions and other star systems are starting to filter in, because that's what the Akashic records are. They're really memory banks. Okay.
Mhm.
And so when I discovered the galactic astrology, I felt like it answered some deeper levels of that existential question of who am I? And
Mhm.
because when we remember who we are, we will remember why we came.
Yeah.
And of course, many indigenous people know they came from the stars, and through their cosmology know which star nation. Just as like the Cherokee know that they're in their cosmology, they have come from the Pleiades. The Pleiades are very deeply connected to many different indigenous cultures. Okay. And as we look at this, your chart, and I tell you what I see happening, what I want to say, the question is this factual or is it archetypal and mythic? Either way, it's true. It is your energetic imprinting. Okay.
Mhm.
And, and as we understand more about quantum physics, we understand that we are multidimensional beings and we are existing in many different dimensions and, at once. Okay, that there is no past, there is no future, there's only now, and we are existing, but we're existing in different timelines. Okay, but everything is happening, existing at the same time. But a timeline helps us organize it in our mind. And so I'm going to kind of create a timeline, but to just know it's just to help us organize it in our minds. Okay.
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 All right. And as we call our parts home, and they say as we shift into these higher frequency dimensions, um, let me restate that. Higher frequency dimensional beings have recall uh, of many of the existences they are having in other star systems and dimensions. And so that's part of calling ourselves home, becoming consciously aware of that. And, there's been a quarantine around Earth and our connection to our the star nations and our galactic collective. But we are part of we're part of a cosmic collective. Okay, and we're starting to remember that. And and as we do that, we become whole again and remember that we've never actually left the source of creation, that we're just having this experience of separation. We are we are all part of the oneness looking through different eyes. And this is part of the remembering. Okay. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, we will remember that we are part of a cosmic collective and the history of our galaxy, and that we are not alone. We have never been alone. And our star nation relatives want us to remember them and that they are here to help us with this shift in consciousness, as so many of them have done before us. Many of the star nations have been exactly where we are at this point of ascension, this point of breaking through. But it's like the tension, really gets really challenging in this breakthrough time. But other star nations have done it, and so can we. And, Bashar says that, and I know you know who Bashar is because I think, you've assisted with him or event he was at.
Yeah.
Bashar says that 2023 is the year that begins open contact. And it's going to be 10 years of very intense open contact, but that we need to be able to meet them in their resonant field. That's why our frequency, the elevation of our frequency and vibration is so important. Well, there's many reasons, but that's one of them as well. Okay.
Mhm.
And as more of humanity raise their vibration, the more contact we will have. All right. So, now we're going to start with Valerie's galactic chart.
Yay.
Because the first thing we look at is our soul essence colors. Okay. And this isn't your aura. This is what's called your basic color. And the color that came up for you as your basic color is a crystal diamond. It's a very sparkly, diamond-like kind of an energy. And crystal soul people are sincere and open, willing to connect with others deeply and with all honesty. They are the huggers, unless trauma conditioned. These souls are very sensitive energetically to the environment, and their body may be prone to allergies and physical issues that point out our collective unhealthy way of living. To know you're kind of like the canary in the coal mine, because you also can tend to absorb negative energy from the environment. So it's really important that you consciously take time to practice energy clearing every day, especially being in the store and being around so
Yeah.
many people. Okay.
Yeah.
They can have psychic and healing abilities and feel their purpose on earth is to be of selfless service. Their main purpose is to act like a powerful, pure channel, portal, amplifier of high vibrational cosmic frequencies coming to Earth through the sunlight and other cosmic forces. And anchoring in is basically to be an anchor, to allow these energies to come in, to anchor them in. And so the crystal ray keywords are anchor, amplifier, magnifier, reflector, purifier, and channel. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. And crystal, and I would say diamond, white, that's kind of all kind of a similar kind of an energy, all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I saw another color in there, which was turquoise. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
and and turquoise is a combination of blue and green, and it's what is called, it's connected to the higher heart chakra. It's the thymus that's located between the throat and the heart, so it connects those two. And so it's referred to as the spiritual or the etheric heart. And it's all about speaking from the heart. Okay, that's what this is about, is being a communicator, speaking from the heart and aligning the mind and the heart. Okay. And the key, and it's in selfless service to creation, great spirit. And the turquoise keywords are heart-centered communication, healing words, higher teaching, research, truth-seeking, curiosity, idealist, connector, and encourager. Okay. And Valerie, if I know anything about you, is that you are an encourager. You really support people in their gifts. You're
Yeah.
so wonderful at that. Yeah, and
Thank
sharing
you.
your gifts. Yeah. All right. Now, next we have some spirit guides who showed up for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the first one is Archangel Sandalphon. Are you familiar with Archangel Sandalphon?
Um, not not enough.
Not enough. Well, Archangel Sandalphon um, is is about your personal connection to heaven.
Oh,
He
wow.
he is the one that let's put it this way. He makes your prayers more powerful. He really
Oh,
helps you. Yeah. When you're putting those prayers out there, call on Archangel Sandalphon. He'll help
okay.
you bridge the path, transporting your pleas and praises to the divine to make sure that your prayers are answered. His name and presence is one that oftentimes is also associated with nature and animals. In addition to this, he helps you on becoming more self-loving, gentle, patient, and kind. But to know, if you want your prayers to be effective, bring him in. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The next person, or the next spirit guide that showed up is Archangel Michael. And
Ooh, wow.
yeah, Archangel Michael is often referred to as the principle of light. He is a
Oh,
protector,
wow.
and he will protect you against negative and psychic attack. He carries that sword of truth, and and he carries his shield to fight and
Oh
protect.
my God. You're not going to believe this. Somebody made me this little Archangel Michael, but we one of the artists
Oh, wow. There you
in
go.
the Sword of Truth.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So I have been connecting with him a lot.
Yes, well, he is the most powerful of angels, so it's great to have him by your side. Just know he walks with you, okay? And if you need protection, you should reach out to him, okay?
Okay.
And somebody else who showed up was Archangel Gabriel. Okay, and Gabriel, it comes in on the white light, the white crystal diamond light. And he is a powerful and loving messenger of the divine. He's the angel of communication, new beginnings, and strength. And when you connect with Gabriel, he can assist you in learning to tune into and receive direct messages of divine love for yourself, and and to allow divine strength, wisdom, and blessings to flow throughout your life. So he's the archangel of divine messages. A lot of
Wow.
people who are communicators, oracles, all kinds of different ways, those who receive divine messages. And I know that you receive lots of divine messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right.
Awesome.
Now, somebody else who showed up is Kuan Yin. Of course, you know her well.
Wow.
Yeah, the Bodhisattva of mercy and compassion. She walks with you. And then I got two spirit animals. Okay.
Huh?
And I don't always get spirit animals, but for you, they
Oh,
just came through super clear. And of course, the first one is the eagle, the messenger of
wow.
great spirit, another messenger. And the other one is the horse. I don't know if you feel
Ooh.
connected to horses, but it's a powerful symbol of shamanic traveling. It's a symbol of power. Horses are, they say shamans travel on horses, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've got to, yeah. Oh, of course, horses are related to Sagittarius, where your sun is as
Oh
well.
my God.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Now I'm going to show you your galactic chart. Now I didn't, and just so you know, there's a lot here, and I really sat with it and kind of saw, I would say, receive messages about which were the most important for you. Okay. So anyway, but I just want to show it to you first.
And I want to tell you something about the horses. You're right on this, the money with today, with just before this call with you, somebody came in and I remember my love for horses and I knew she was a master of horses. And I told her that my first experience to get on a horse was that I got bucked off and it took off running and all this stuff. So I told her about my fear.
Uh-huh.
So now it's making me want to connect with that, how much my love, but how to heal that for,
Yes,
and bring them in
absolutely.
more.
Wow, that's kind of amazing. What's interesting, before we
Yeah,
look at this, I want to share a card I drew for you today. And you bring that up. I
yeah,
drew this magical card for this deck. Is a great deck, and it's called Celestial Frequencies. I don't know if you can see it.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, wow.
here's the card. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to
Okay.
see. Anyway,
Yeah.
the card itself is courageous. That's why
Wow.
it's about being
Wow.
courageous, and
Yeah.
it's transcending fear is the card I drew for you today.
Ah.
Yeah, and I just was read it to you, and it says, "You are a radiant spark of light, the eternal flame of the Creator. The strength within you is powerful beyond measure. It is immune to darkness and fear and cannot be extinguished. This flame transcends beyond duality. Negative entities do not align with this eternal flame. Thus, they initiate agendas to dispose of this light in others. But darkness is powerless in the sacred alignment of transcending fear. Choose to shine your divine flame brilliantly and stand firmly rooted and infused with the golden frequency of celestial empowerment." All right.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's interesting that you would bring that up. Yeah. And so I think it is important for you to heal your fear with horses, because you've got some very powerful horse medicine. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Get
So
back on the horse. I'm going to fight the fear and get back on the horse.
there you go. All right. Well, okay. So here is your galactic chart, and I'll just show you how it's organized. So what she has done here, she has taken all of the planets, the sun, the moon, and some points, the ascendant, all of the different points of your chart. Okay. And then she has seen if they align with if they align with the constellation. Okay. And we're going to go through this, but first off, we can see that your sun is aligned with the Pleiades. Okay. And so I'm sitting in front of the Pleiades. What this image is behind me is the Pleiades. Okay. Another
Yeah.
constellation that is super strong for you is Lyra. We're going to talk about that. And then you've got 4 points in Lyra. And you also have Pegasus. Where is that? Oh, here it is, Pegasus.
Ooh.
And you know, Pegasus is the flying horse.
Ooh.
It's a mythical being, a flying horse. And you've got
Oh my God.
several points connected to Pegasus. So that's why the horse, I think, came in so strong and why it's so important for you to, you know, heal your relationship
Okay.
with horses. But anyway, so you can just kind of see what I'm working with. We've got the
Yeah.
Pleiades, we've got Lyra. We have these things called galactic points. I'll be talking about what those are. We've got Pegasus. Anyway, I just wanted to show it to you, and I'll send this to you. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So you can kind of
Oh,
look
this is
over it
wonderful.
and, you know, get a sense of it. So anyway, where we're going to start is we know that, you know, the reality or let's put it this way, the cosmic reality is that we have never left source. We are, you know, but to expand the greater reality, source wanted to have experiences, and each one of us are having this, you know, an experience of separation and the life that we are living to expand the greater reality. But in the cosmic, in the galactic astrology, what we do is we start with a timeline, and the timeline is where did you first have your first individuation from source? Okay. And so you had those points called the galactic, and you have so you have and what that means is there's 4 different points in the Milky Way galaxy that we call galactic points. There is the galactic center, there is the supergalactic center, there is the what's called the Shapley attractor and the great attractor. One of those points is super important for you, and it's called the super galactic center. And it is a black hole. And they say on the other side of that black hole are more than 40 different galaxies. And the black holes are drawing the energy in, whereas the other 2, the great attractors, are like they're pulling our galaxy towards them. Whereas the galactic center and the supergalactic center we're drawing in these energies from other galaxies. And so you have Jupiter and Uranus conjunct the supergalactic center. And so what this means, and that's really the most important thing, is it means, number one, it tells me that one of the supergalactic center is directly connected to the law of attraction. And I'm sure you're familiar with the law of attraction. And I
Yeah.
would say it's so important for you to be aware of just how much of the law of attraction is deeply within yourselves, and to really work with that in a really conscious way. To know,
Okay.
yeah, that right, like attracts like. And so it's of course, gratitude, how much gratitude, is all the gratitude is which attracts the abundance. It's
Yeah.
walking in that field and being super aware of that. Okay. And the other thing is it is about a mastery of relationship with self and others. Okay. And
Mm.
we don't have to be intimate partnerships. It's just simply our relations, our friends, our family, everybody that we have relations with. And you have relations with so many people. So you're
Yeah.
really learning how to master relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, and so what this tells me is that you actually came from another universe. This is the other thing this tells me, that your soul individuated from another universe. And I feel like where it came from was actually something called the Lyra Ring Nebula. And I've got an image of that as well. I want to show that to you. Okay. Let me find it here. Oh, here it is. I think that's it. Okay, good. Let me get it on my screen. Okay.
Oh, cool.
All right. So this would be, I feel like your soul came through this. It's called the Lyra Ring Nebula. I can send you this image. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the Lyra Ring Nebula, what they say about the Lyra Ring Nebula is that um, there are many angelic beings from other universes who enter through this portal. And I feel like you're one of those angelic beings, Valerie, that entered from another universe through this portal. Okay. And so you would have had your first so what I would say is that you're like an intergalactic angelic being, but your first incarnation here in the Milky Way would have been in the constellation of Lyra. Okay, and Lyra is
Yeah.
the Lyra. They call it Lyra, they call it Lyra. I've heard it
Okay.
pronounced both ways. And it's and so I just wanted to tell you a little bit of history about this. The Lyran beings are the oldest beings in our galaxy. They say the beings who came through the Lyra Nebula were part of what is called the Elohim, and they were master geneticists. And okay. So this is the history, whether it's mythic or whether it's
Mhm.
factual. I think there's a scientific piece to this, and it says
Okay.
that they believe that the Andromeda galaxy gave birth to the Milky Way galaxy. Okay. And so this was a relatively new galaxy when these Elohim, these beings entered in through the Lyra Nebula. And the thing is, in each one of these different galaxies, they work with a different set of physics. Okay. And because there's millions, I mean, they have, there's untold numbers of galaxies. But here in the Milky Way galaxy, everything is based on polarity, just like magnets. And so the beings that came through, they wanted to be part of the great experiment here in the Milky Way of intense polarity consciousness, which was about the separation from source and then forgetting that we were source, because many of the higher dimensional beings, that's what they had to remember, because that's part of polarity consciousness, is forgetting that. And a lot of these beings were feline beings. I don't know if you have any connection to cats, um, but but
Oh, big time.
okay, really, okay,
It was really weird this morning. I really was looking at today's reading is all these synchronicities that I'm thinking of, but today I almost in the store here we have different like cats. We have a lion, we have a tiger, we have all these things, but yes,
okay.
I always, and then I just got this like picture that I had like a pet tiger and a pet, I don't
Well, there
know. It
you
was
go.
very weird
You
today.
you could have well been that could have been how you came, was as a feline being from another galaxy. Okay. And they were feline humanoids. They were co-creators. They're and part of a group consciousness. And they were master geneticists. And they came with a blueprint to create the humanoid species, as well as creating life
God.
on different planets. You're a creator being, Valerie. You're and
Oh my God.
yeah, and I looked at your what do you call it, human design, just to see. And yes, you're what's it called, a manifesting generator. You're a creator
Mhm.
being. Okay. And to just know that. And um and so and, and anyway, but on a galactic level, it's like understanding, or having an understanding of the blueprint of how things are supposed to be, put it that way, the spiritual blueprint. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, and so they were a creator of worlds, and so actually know the blueprint for humanoid beings genetically, but also the spiritual plan. And basically all humanoid beings in the Milky Way have some Lyran DNA, but this makes you a very ancient soul with a deep
Wow.
connection to felines. And this is where the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet came from. I don't know if you
Oh, you're not going to believe this. Okay, somebody just gave me, okay, somebody came in and just gave me this.
you're kidding.
No,
You're
isn't this segment?
the Sekhmet. That is absolutely Sekhmet. Okay.
Oh,
Just know that
wow.
she's got your back. She's one of your people,
Oh
Valerie.
my God.
She's one of your people, right?
And see, I've forgotten certain things, see, but I knew when somebody comes in and gives me somebody like that, then I'm like, uh-oh, okay, I need to study this. At
Yeah.
the same time, I got this one too, which is has a scorpion.
Scorpion,
But
yeah.
this is very interesting how she came in too before this. Wow. This,
Yes, yeah. Sekhmet is a very powerful deity. She's well, you just have to read up on her, and you know, she's all over Egypt. I mean, she's very powerful. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And okay. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about the story of Lyra because it's really important for your soul journey to understand, since that's where you've come from. That, like I said, all humanoid life in the Milky Way galaxy started in the constellation of Lyra. And it was also in Lyra where polarity consciousness was first initiated, which was the actual reason for the creation of the Milky Way. It is here that masculine, feminine, dark and light, and all of the other polarities came into being. And after a few million years of existence, the Lyrans became involved in a war with fellow Lyrans, those from the star of Vega. And the Lyrans were really, they were very much of a pioneers, explorers. They explored the galaxy as well. Okay. They had the original Lyrans were courageous pioneers who were explorers of their star system, and they created very advanced technology and spaceships to do so. But the Lyrans believed they were the only ones in the universe for a long time. But that turned out to not be true. So after the war with the Vegans, some very ancient beings from the constellation of Draco, who were the reptilians, came to the Milky Way from another galaxy. These reptilians were also explorers, and they had technology that was more advanced than that of the Lyrans. They saw the beautiful, lush planets where the Lyrans lived and wanted them for themselves. And so long and the short of it, well, let's put it this way. You know, there's very enlightened reptilians, the dragons, and but these were not the enlightened reptilians. These were the service to self ones. And so long and the short of it, these reptilians deceived the Lyrans with the promise of access to their advanced technology if they would let them enter unto the planets of Lyra. The Lyrans were still a relatively young race, even though you are an ancient soul at that time and somewhat naive. But the truth is, they wanted the technology, so were willing to overlook the warning signs. And the draconian reptiles attacked the Lyrans and destroyed 4 planets, 4 beautiful planets.
Mm.
And then the wars went on for a long time until the Lyrans had to leave their home. They became refugees who then went and colonized other planets in the galaxy as their technology became very advanced. This background information is important because these wars impacted the whole galaxy, that all races had to deal with it until it is integrated. And so as polarity increases, so does the separation from source. It is a metaphor for the inner work that we all must do to return to source. Okay. And so some of the Lyran traits are they're problem solvers. They have a strong belief in human potential. They can be a pioneer or leader. They can be quiet and reserved. They can cope with challenges, sense an underlying truth in art, drawn to animals and plants, carry very ancient wisdom and knowledge, and are drawn to divination and magic. Okay.
Wow.
I wish I have some images of the feline Lyrans. I'll send them to you. Okay. So you can see them.
Wow.
But anyway, on your chart, you have your moon is an aspect to the stars of Lyra. So is your Venus, and so is your vertex. And so the vertex is something I don't talk about a lot unless it's activated. So I would say you have soul contracts with other beings from Lyra. Okay, that's what the vertex means. It talks about soul contracts. You might find as the people in your life have some of their planets conjunct some of the stars in Lyra. Okay, and so there's some karma here, and because there is an ancestral wound. Okay, because, and you know, you have planets in Capricorn, and Capricorn is very related to the ancestors, and it's very related to ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom. And
Mm.
and there's an ancestral wound in this lineage because of the wars that first started there, that
Uh-huh.
there is a feeling that the world is not a safe place. Okay. There can also heartbroken over the destruction of the planets. Okay. So it can
Mm.
carry the imprint of grief and also guilt for feeling responsible for the deep polarity and the many millions of years of war that were brought into this galaxy. And yet it was the plan. That is the paradox. That is the paradox, is that the Milky Way galaxy, the intention was to have this really intense polarity and then to forget and then have the process of remembering, and that's how we grow the greater reality. And yet there can be this sense of guilt. Okay.
Wow.
And so it's kind of like knowing if you're feeling guilty irrationally, if like there's nothing for
Yeah.
you to feel guilty for, but you feel it, to know this
Yeah.
is part of your ancestral DNA. And it's just really important for you to forgive yourself. Okay. And to forgive others. Okay. To know that all in the universe is forgiven. Now you must forgive yourself. Okay. And
Okay.
there's also this feeling, there's a sense of naivete. Okay. A difficulty telling truth from lies, as there can be the desire to always see what you want to see. Okay. All right. So those are some of the markings, but it's, you know, Lyra is a very ancient, is carrying some really ancient blueprints of this paradox of polarity consciousness and then the return to love, the remembering that we are beings of love. Okay. All right. Now, the next star constellation, now I'm going to say that's what I would say is that you are, that would have been your first individuation here in the Milky Way galaxy. Your first incarnation in the Milky Way would be Lyra, but you've had several others that were very impactful. And this is
Wow.
another one that is really super, super good. And
I
it
was
is,
going to tell you too that that sometimes I do that. Like this morning, I do feel this deep sense of guilt, and I'm thinking, what is this? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I want, and the thing is, this isn't, there have been several instances in the Milky Way galaxy where planets have been destroyed through war, and it seems like, at least the ones that I'm aware of, uh,
oh,
you've been on them. Okay, so it's
yeah,
not,
there's this
yeah,
really
yeah.
deep
There's more.
sadness.
Yeah. So the next one I'm going to talk about is called,
Okay.
it's in the constellation of Centaurus, which is of course the horse. Again, you know, it's a centaur is half horse, half human, and it's
Wow.
the star Beta Centauri, and the planet is called Hadar. Okay, and this was one of the planets that was colonized by the Lyran refugees. Now, the planet Hadar was a beautiful utopian paradise, and the energy was pure love. It was the divine feminine. Some say the movie Avatar was created in the likeness of Hadar. Have you seen Avatar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, so Valerie, I would say what you have experienced that incredible beauty that was on that, I can't remember the planet and what the beings names were, but they were blue cat beings, and you know they came from Lyra. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was your story. It's, you know, it was a lush and beautiful, and they lived in complete alignment with nature. And you have experienced this natural beauty. Hadar was a planet of unconditional love and the divine feminine. They're this is one of their sayings, is that love is the essence of life and creation. Okay. So I want to read you just a little bit more about Hadar here, okay? Because it's
how
really
do you spell
beautiful.
it? It's like
Hadar, Hadar, okay?
Cool.
Yeah. And so I have this great book, and you should get it. It's called Soul Mastery: Accessing the Gifts of Your Soul. I don't know if you can see it.
Ooh, ooh,
It's
yeah,
by Susan Taylor Shire, and she talks about several different star seeds here, and one of them
yeah.
is Darian. And so it says here, what she says is that you hold the stance is that love is what matters. Your view is, what else is there? You value connection, communication, and creating together as love. You are playful, creative, and live from the heart. You have come here to explore the facets of the diamond of love that exist in the blueprint for human experience. So you already carry that from Lyra, the blueprint
Wow.
of the diamond of love. And like I said, I saw your soul energy is a crystal diamond-like energy. Okay. And that you have a sensitive heart and deeply feel the lack of love that exists here. Yeah. And that's where some of the grief comes from. Anyway, what happened there was just some more beings, some reptilians from Draco, and to know that, you know, the reptilian beings were the catalyst, you know, for change. I mean, when they show up, they were the catalyst for growth. Okay. And so, but the beings from Draco discovered this planet of love, but instead of doing the necessary work to create this beautiful energy, they chose to invade and enslave the Hadarians so that they could have this energy. Anyway, this is the story. The Hadarians rebelled and their planet was destroyed. They once again became refugees, and many are here on Earth now. And there is another saying, it's really important to remember too, is that home is where the heart is. Okay. Because there might be a sense of, what would be the word? Homesickness. Okay. And the thing is, the planets from Lyra and the planets from Hadar are gone there. So there is homesick. There can be a sense of homesickness. Okay. And like I said, some Hadarian traits are playful and creative, a deep connection to nature. They're often healers. They're drawn to being in service, sensitive to the suffering of the world, very sensitive to sound and smell. They're empaths and light workers, have an easy connection with people in spirit. And once again, like I said, have a sensitive heart and deeply feel the lack of love that exists here. So you carry, so your Mercury and you have Athena, the asteroid Athena, are conjunct this star, this Beta Centauri. And so I feel like what this is saying is that it carries the grief of a home destroyed. Once again, you know, having a hard time finding home. I mean, it's kind of like you even keep moving. You know, it's kind of like you can't
Yeah,
seem to kind of, you know, whatever it is, things intervene, and you know, but there is
yeah.
once again forgiveness for self and others, and to remember that nothing happens that we have not given permission to happen on some level because it serves us in some way. Okay. So that's
Mhm.
the teaching there. Okay, of Hadar. All right. Now another star that you've been imprinted by and marked by is from the constellation Pegasus. You actually have two stars there. They're called Markab and Sheat. Okay. First off, Pegasus, of course, is the flying horse. He's a magical horse. He's born of Neptune and Medusa. Apparently, a drop of Medusa's blood fell into the sea, which is Neptune, and so, and that's when, and Pegasus flew out of the water. Okay,
Oh my
and
God.
it's, yeah, it's a combination of
Just
intuition and
before this
instinct.
call,
What?
just before this call, I had a customer that was getting one of those little laser glass balls that have like astrology in it, and it has an image inside of it. And so then she bought it, and I was rearranging all of it, and then I came across the Pegasus one, and I went,
Well, there you go. You need to have a Pegasus in your life. Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah. And so Pegasus is the winged horse, and he appears to gallop through the heavens. He's a divine messenger. Okay. And they say Pegasus is actually carrying us from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And the reason being is that Pegasus in the zodiac is aligned with 23 degrees of Pisces. And in the sidereal astrology, that's where the actual spring equinox is, because, you know, we're still in the age of Pisces. But we have 1 foot in the age of Aquarius. But they say now things are moving faster and that Pegasus is the one that is carrying us. Okay. And he represents the shift in mindset from worshiping a God outside of yourself to becoming your own God by acknowledging the divinity within. Okay. Pegasus constellation gives ingenuity and a brilliant mind, but being so far ahead in your thoughts can mean others may think you're crazy. A certain naivete can prove advantageous, however, because if you did see just how dangerous the path you were on, you would never take it. So
Ah,
yeah, it gives you the courage. You have a lot of courage, Valerie. You're following the energy. Basically, you're riding Pegasus. He's kind of,
wow.
yeah, um, yeah. And he's known for a need for freedom, independence, and exploring the unknown. Highly intuitive, poetic, creative, artistic, and connected with nature. Those who are imprinted by Pegasus are often possess strong psychic gifts and a profound connection to universal wisdom and knowledge. They're known for the ability to interdimensional travel and high spiritual consciousness. Well, you know, many
Oh,
shamans
wow.
ride horses. I mean, they ride their horses into, other realms. Yeah. So a horse is a very shamanic animal. Okay, and it gives one a strong determination to succeed at whatever they set out to do, which you do. Okay. And this is also interesting. So Bernadette Brady, she's another person that I study that has information out there on these different fixed stars. And
Uh-huh.
what she says about the stars of Pegasus, she says they create a square in the sky to reflect the importance of the number 4. And of course, it's so
Ooh.
north, north, south, east, and west. And I added up your numbers, and you're a 4. When I added
Oh
up
my
your
gosh.
birthday, yeah, 11, 23,
Oh my gosh.
1968, it adds up to 4. And so,
Wow.
yeah, so 4 is a super important number for you. It is the tarot card of the emperor. You know, the emperor is so much about, claiming your own personal authority, standing in your own truth, you know. Okay. And she also,
Mm-hmm.
but the different stars, she says Markab is actually the star that is the saddle on uh Pegasus. And that's conjunct Pluto. And you have another star, Shaat, conjunct Chiron, which indicates a searcher for truth. Okay, so that's just some more information. Okay. All right, so Pegasus, he's magical. And then you've got another super magical kind of an energy. Okay. This is a constellation called Coma Berenice, and the star is called Diadem. And this is conjunct your Mars and your South Node. And the South Node represents our past. Okay. And this um, they say this is one of the earliest groups that came to Earth, the Star Nations, and they're still remembered in Celtic and Nordic folklore as the elven and fairy races. You've
Oh
got
my God.
galactic elven in your cosmic DNA. That
Oh my God.
yeah. So all that magical stuff you have in the stores because you're so connected to the magical beings. You have been a magical being, and you are a magical being in other dimensions.
Wow.
Yeah. And so here are some of their qualities. They're free spirited, nature loving, connected to magic and the supernatural, a strong sense of spirituality, very creative and artistic. And according to Bernadette Brady, this is another meaning. She says diadem, diadem is the crown. A diadem is the crown royalty war. Okay. and it's linked to feminine strength. But it's a feminine strength that does not seek fame or glory, works for the benefit of the group, but sometimes the sacrifice it takes may be on the person's ability to give. Yeah, that's how she interprets this star, as the ability to sacrifice. And it's actually the Coma Berenice. It's actually, it's a constellation of a woman's hair wearing a crown. You know,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So this would
With
also
what?
and it could, and it could indicate like the fairy,
Oh,
like the fairy
oh,
queen.
no. Okay, wait a minute. Now I've been doing this research, about my family's from the Lucid Knot line, which took my cousin to France, that talked about a fairy queen, mermaid, princess called Melusine, is my great, 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 whatever line.
Right.
Melusine from France. And then there's Tuatha De Danann from my father's side on Ireland. And so this is like really something else.
Right. So this
Melusine,
must be your Irish and your Celtic
oh
ancestry.
my God. Look at this.
There you go, Valerie. You need to put that on your head. There you go. That's the crown for the fairy queen, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my God. These are our new, crowns. And look at this that came
Oh
in.
my gosh, there you go. Yeah,
Wow.
but you've got this in your cosmic
Almost
DNA.
like I can't even believe this, like it's being like made up or something. Like, but things are like falling into synchronicity. See?
Yeah. Yeah, to know this is real, Valerie. This is not imagination. You have this, this is part of who you are. This
Wow.
and part of the a higher going into these, let's put it, how can I say this? The remembering and knowing that it is true. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that you're definitely a yeah, the fairy queen is part of your cosmic DNA, and it may well be part of your earthly DNA as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you know this, but there was a family in Great Britain. Part of their royal family was a woman named Elizabeth. What was her name? Woodbridge? I don't know, but her mother was from France, and that was their lineage as well. Was Melusine?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you need to.
Well,
I don't know if you have. Have you ever read any books by what was her name? Philippa Gregory?
no.
You know her. Well, anyway, she writes a lot about English history. It's like what do you call historical fiction, but there's also a series on stars. I don't know if you have stars. I don't know
Yeah.
if but yeah, it's called The White Queen, and
The
that was her
White Queen.
lineage
Okay.
was
Okay.
Melusine.
All right. Well, this is the funny thing, is that also it was May 1st. I was with my mother. May 1st is May Day. And it's the day of the fairies, which I forgot until we watched on Ancient Aliens. They had about the Fae and the May
Yeah,
Day and
yeah,
the 12th of Day Dawn. And why are these? They say that Melusine's not real, but she was a shapeshifter. And then we go into Merlin, whose Merlin is our family name of Mifflin. The
really.
Mifflin family is a surname. So we were on this like thing with my mom. She's got the
Wow.
Melusine book, so I'll have to
Mhm.
look her up. Philippa
Yeah,
Gregory,
Philippa
the White
Gregory, and the book
Queen.
is called The White Queen, right? And there's also
Oh
a
my
series on
God.
stars, right? If you want to watch it, yeah, it's super great. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, this is Wild Valerie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so just a couple of more things I wanted to talk about this because I do think this, I'm kind of
Okay.
looking at this from two different angles. One is kind of the more
Yeah.
magical angle. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. And that was
Yeah.
what I have learned working with the star nations, what they say is that as we raise our frequency and we're able to go into the fourth fourth dimension, as and the fifth dimension, but in the fourth dimension was, these beings live in the fourth and fifth dimension, and they are fourth density beings, and we can enter those. They are still here. They say they have never left. It's just we stopped believing in them, and so that door
Right.
was closed to us. And I
Yeah.
know in Ireland that, I mean, I had a
Oh my
friend that
God.
went to Ireland, golly, I don't know how many times, numerous times. And she got pictures of the water sprites. There's beings in the water. There's a waterfall. You can see the beings in them, because the people in Ireland still interact with these beings. They know they're
Well,
there.
let me just tell you something that my passion lately and after the pandemic was that the rainbow, the power of the rainbow and the unicorn and the fairies and the interdimensional beings. And so I started to see a theme of these magical crystals that have color that I call aura quartz. And the children would come in. I don't know if I have one right here. The children from 2 years old to 12 years old would come in, and they in the meantime at the same parallel as the whole history about Melusine and the discovery of fairy mermaid shapeshifter relative from our lucid not lineage. These children come in, and I call them the unicorn soldiers because they believe in fairies. They can see into other dimensions. They walk right up and say, I met a fairy mermaid today that could shape shift, and she's going to come back and teach me how to shape shift into a mermaid. And
Wow,
she
that's
flew up.
amazing.
She shape shifted and she flew up in the sky, and they can see them. So these unicorn soldiers, the parents aren't telling them don't believe in it.
Right, right.
And if
That's
you're
what's
a
so
weirdo
important.
or lock you up because you're talking like that,
Mhm.
they're not
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
very
well, yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So it is, and it's right there in your cosmic DNA, Valerie, that it's part of who you are. So, that door is going to open for you as well, where you have interactions with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. So then just a couple of more things about the diadem. And this is from Bernadette Brady. So like I said, there's the more magical piece, and then hers is more kind of, psycho-spiritual, I would say. And she says that diadem, when it is conjunct the south node, it indicates the devoted worker, a lifetime of service to an idea or another person. And of course that's exactly, you're so devoted to what you're doing, you just incredibly devoted. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Now, all right, another star system, and this is the Pleiades. I'm sitting in front of the Pleiades right now. And so I feel like your sun, which represents your sense of self, it's our spirit, it's our higher self. When the sun is in aspect to one of the stars, it really indicates that this is part of the fabric of your being. And often what I have found is that when there is something conjunct the sun, the moon, or the ascendant, that you may be having a parallel life in that particular star system, a current lifetime, not a past life, not a future life, but a current parallel life. And so that
Yeah.
may well be what's happening with the Pleiades, because whenever something is conjunct our sun, it's really more in our conscious awareness. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so you have your sun is an aspect to Alcyone, which is the seat of the Pleiadian civilization. It has to do with creativity, administration, varied interest. It's known as the great central sun of the Pleiades, and it's about leadership.
Mm.
You also have some planets, an aspect to Pleione, which is another
Mm.
star, and it is the Pleiadian sanctuary star for rest, respite, deep spirituality, and contemplation. Okay, and you have
Wow.
a lot of 12th house planets, so it's really important, Valerie, for you to take your days off and to
Yeah.
really rejuvenate yourself, because you really need that. Okay. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you just a little bit of the Pleiadian history as well. So,
Okay.
um, the Earth human and Pleiadian DNA are the most similar of any other star nations. They have had a lot to do with, they've shared their DNA with us, and we have shared our DNA with them. The Pleiadians came to Earth in the early years and have had much interaction with indigenous people since very early days. Probably 90% of, I don't know if that's a correct number, but a lot of
Right.
indigenous people can trace their Star Nation ancestry to the Pleiades. Okay,
Mhm.
and they also have a special relationship with Mother Earth herself. They love Mother Earth, and the
Mhm.
Pleiadians, they're very high vibrational frequency. They're known for being healers. They're very psychic, empathic, and sensitive. They heal with sound. They are known as great communicators. They speak their truth and demand justice for all. They're connected to nature and Mother Earth, connected to crystals. They're very connected to crystals.
Oh, wow.
Humanitarians, yeah, humanitarians. They can be very sensitive to noise, drugs, and alcohol. May also be very sensitive to criticism. But
Mhm.
Many Pleiadians also kind of have boundary issues, as they're so sensitive and empathic, knowing what is yours and what belongs to others. Okay. They're also known for being people pleasers. Okay. So I want to share their history with you. So in the and I feel like this, I would call you a Lyran Pleiadian starseed, just because the Pleiades is so because it's in aspect to your sun. Okay. And so in their history, they were known to believe in always being positive and what we would call today spiritual bypass. As a result, they developed an immune system disorder due to the inability to feel negative feelings. Their holy people figured this out and discovered that it is about the integration of the shadow that heals us and makes us whole. Okay. And I'm not saying you do that, but I'm saying you might, it would be part of your cosmic DNA as something to, to heal if you do. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Another piece of their history is that the Pleiadians were rescuers. In Orion, they just like in Hadar, um,
Mhm.
the movie Avatar, they say, was based on Hadar. Well, the Star Wars movies were based on the Orion Wars, which lasted many millions of years, and they were pretty brutal. Anyway, but they have long since ascended, and that's done. But uh, the Pleiadians saw the people of Orion suffering, and so attempted to intervene and rescue them. And in response, the Orions, which there was a lot of the reptilians there, retaliated and destroyed a most beautiful planet. And there is also a collective feeling of guilt around this. And so you're being asked to look deep within yourself for any feelings of guilt or unworthiness that might keep you from fully embracing love, abundance, and joy in your life. Open your heart. Let the love of the universe fill the part of you where the guilt lives. Let it go. All is forgiven by the universe. Now you must forgive yourself. So
Mm.
you've been your soul journey has been in 3 different places where planets were destroyed. So there can be, so there's a lot of DNA around that. I would say cosmic DNA. And so, like I said, if you're feeling guilty about any guilt or unworthiness, because they say, um, it's a lack of feeling worthy sometimes that does not allow the abundance to flow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. And to know many Earth activists carry this energy, and that know that Mother Earth is exist in higher frequency vibrations, and that's part of our job, is to align with her as she is ascending. And she has often told us the way to heal her is to heal ourselves. and that the external world is a reflection of our inner world. And of course, as we do our own healing, we heal 7 generations before us, 7 generations after us, and Mother Earth. Okay. And most of those with Pleiadian star markings need to set better boundaries, know when to say no, and is to not rescue, to
Oh my gosh, the story of my life.
I know. Yeah. So, but to know that it's, it's in your cosmic DNA. You can make a different
Yeah,
choice, but to just know that, it's
yeah,
being that sensitive, to being that empath, to know what is yours and what is not yours,
yeah.
to let, yeah. Okay. All right. All right. And so, all right. And Alcyone, having your sun an aspect to Alcyone, can give great inner vision and activation of the third eye. All right. Now I've got another magical, you've got so much magic in your galactic
Wow.
chart. So another magical one, you've got the star Alpha Centauri, which is also part of, once again, Centaurus, the horse, he's the horse man. Okay.
Wow.
Alpha Centauri is associated with inner earth, with Agartha. Are you familiar with Agartha and the inner earth?
Well, the inner earth came up when we were on May Day, and the inner earth about the Tuatha De Danann. But what did you just say? The Gartha?
Agartha, that's the name of inner earth. That's one of the
Oh,
names.
okay.
Yeah. And of course, Telos and Mount Shasta, is one is they are subterranean civilizations that exist underground. And
Mhm.
the let's put it this way, the cosmic history is that it was those from Alpha Centauri were the ones who first went into inner earth and settled it, and it's very magical. And of course, this is where a lot of the magical beings are as well, okay, in the inner earth.
Wow.
And in Telos and Mount Shasta is one of those civilizations. Okay. And so I don't know that much about it, but I think it's something for you to explore, to know that you may have had some lifetimes in inner earth. Okay. In the
Yeah.
past. Yeah. And some of those, and so then I asked about lives on earth. And the first life that came up was a lifetime in Lemuria. And of course, some of the first to inhabit Lemuria were those who had been living in the inner earth. They went, because that came first. The star nations
Yeah.
came into the inner earth, and then many of those that were in inner earth were the ones who were part of starting to create life on the surface of the earth. And of course, I saw you as a mer person, one,
Wow.
one who could live in the water, but
Oh my God.
I saw one who could live in the water or on the land, not so much as having the fish tail, as having flippers for feet and kind of webbed hands, and kind of the humanoid that could go in the water and out of the water. You could go both. Okay. And a lot of Lemurians
Yeah.
were like that. Yeah. They were
Wow.
yeah, gifted healers, a strong intuition, telepathic, and they carry ancient knowledge.
Oh
And of
my
course,
God.
a lot of the indigenous people that are in the Pacific, and along the western coast of the Americas, um, and
Oh my God.
Pacific Islanders, New Zealand, those places, they were all, and all of the islands like Samoa and Hawaii, all of those they were all part of Lemuria.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
so funny that just yesterday, my friend's birthday was yesterday, and I was going to see her. And then I have these Lemurian seed crystals that are very, very expensive. And I thought, I'm going to bring her a present. And then I just picked up one of the ones, and I didn't care. I had no attachment. And it had Lemurian, like double tourmalated, about this big,
Oh my
with all
gosh.
the lines, and it was self-growing, it was self-healing, so you could see on where
Oh,
it'd been broken off, it
man.
was healing itself and growing. So
Yeah.
I just didn't care. I said, here you go, here's your birthday present. And I'm going, isn't that funny that I didn't care? I wasn't attached to it, like
Yeah.
let somebody else have
Yeah.
this knowledge. And I was talking all about what I know about Lemurian, but I gave one of my Lemurian.
Oh, there you go. Great. All right. Then,
Yay.
all right. So then I asked about another life. I got two more lives.
Yeah.
One was in Atlantis, and I saw you in a temple and as a man, and you were banging a gong that activated the crystals in the temple.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, and so you know how to activate crystals through sound. And I think there might be some soul memories coming back of how to do that. That you're a crystal healer. Working with crystals is hugely important, and you know how to. And I would say too, Alpha Centauri, they're also, because they're in inner Earth, they work a lot with crystals. You know, they're the ones that they have. The Alpha Centauri are the ones who actually have the incredibly special relationship with crystals. Yeah.
It's funny because lately when somebody buys a crystal, I've been wanting people to hold it because they'll bring it to somebody that's sick. And I'll say, okay, let's put our hands around it. And as I know as a Reiki master, that we can program it to help bring the healing to this person. So we all put our hands on it. And then we're talking about the singing bowls that clear
Yeah,
the
I would
crystals.
use the singing bowls for sure. The sound, I would
Oh
start
my
really
God.
working with them to activate the different crystals and seeing kind of, the what crystals respond to which sound,
Son.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Then one more life, and you're not going to be surprised at this. And this was in Russia, in the Altai Mountains. You
Oh
know,
my God.
yeah, someone showed up that looked just like Grandma Amma, who I know she's from Nepal, but
Wow.
she worked with eagles, and this is where the eagles came in.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I saw you around the fire drumming in a trance state.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably why my favorite crystal is seraphinite that only comes from Russia.
Oh, it comes
But
from Russia? Oh, I didn't
yeah,
know that.
and then also that I kept having these things about the Altai Mountains and the city of light that's above it. And I'm like, oh my God, not only meeting the Siberian shaman but that was coming through when she came is I mean, I've had about these ascended masters in the cities of light. So
Hmm.
that's interesting, but it happened to be Altai Mountains.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Now, something else super interesting showed up, and this is a future life because it's your North Node. And the
Yeah.
North Node is the way forward. And you have the brightest star from Zeta Reticuli. And okay, the Zeta Reticuli are hybrids like Bashar.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so this indicates to me that your next life might be that of a hybrid like Shadar,
Wow.
because Bashar's teaching is that there's going to be 6 hybrid races. And those of us now that are ascending, that is part of the plan, is that we're going to be creating a new hybrid race. And very spiritually advanced, and he's got a whole workshop on that. So when I see Zeta Reticuli strong in a chart, of course, depending on where it is, and yours is
Yeah.
in the future. And so the Zetas are a very spiritually advanced race. They are a combination of human and what is it, gray, and I think one other race. I think they've got 3 races in there, maybe Pleiadian, I'm not sure.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
they're a very advanced spiritually advanced race now, but they had to what they had to do was to start feeling again. They had turned off their emotional body.
Yeah.
And with that they could no longer reproduce. And so but they had to work through that, and then they became a hybrid. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that could well be where you're going, is to be someone like Bashar.
Okay, so hybrid is from what describe a hybrid.
A hybrid would be a mix. Okay.
Okay.
It's a mix of now my understanding is now they're mixes of different races. Now Bashar
Okay.
is a mix of I can't remember. I think it's a gray
Essassani.
of what? Essassani. Yeah,
Essassani.
he's an Essassani, right? An Essassani. And
Okay.
they are a hybrid race, and a hybrid race and is a hybrid race of
Yeah.
of human, of gray, and then there's usually another race mixed in there with them.
Well, you know what's really funny? I'm going to have to get my mother to get a reading with you because, unbeknownst to her, she suddenly, when she hangs up the phone, she says, "This is the Ashtar command, over and out."
There you go.
Now, where did she know this from?
Who knows? Yeah.
The Ashtar Galactic Command saying over and out. Oh, she adds galactic. This is the Ashtar Galactic Command, over and out.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's funny, Valerie. All right. So we're going to close with your soul
Okay.
mission. All right.
Okay.
And so this is the soul mission that I saw for you. And number one, Valerie, it is about spreading divine love, the unconditional love of the universe. You know, your mission is not always something to do. For you, I think the primary soul mission is to just share the love, which is what you do. Okay.
Mm.
It's about being a healer and a light worker, raising vibrations and helping Mother Earth and her people, transmuting negative energy, and to be of service. And the underlying purpose of Lyra and Starseeds is to inspire others to realize their true nature and transcend the limitations of the human experience. But I feel like your number one, Valerie, is to just spread the love like you do. That's what it's everybody you touch, you know, all the people you touch.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's what I would say for you, Valerie.
Thank you.
And I want you to just kind of sit with it. Like I said, I felt like the Lyra was your primary starseed here in the Milky Way galaxy, but that you don't come from, you're not from this world, you're from another universe. That's really, you know, so you're an otherworldly being. But also the Pleiadian, and of course the magical part is super strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So Valerie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a copy of the outline so that you know,
Okay.
and it's a pretty extensive outline. I'm going to send you a copy of of course, the recording, and then a copy of your galactic chart so you can just kind of look at it and, you know, see. So you have a sense of what I'm working with. Okay.
How wonderful.
Right.
What a wonderful, wonderful reading. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Valerie. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and then we can talk a few more minutes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.